So the village chief came to say, Pedro, the head of my workshop, you need to think about what you've done wrong to cause this fire that imperiled our entire village. You are to be under house arrest. We will feed you, and we will reconstruct all that you've lost, because this economy is important to the village life. Hearing that just brought tears to my eyes, and the dedication, not only of the head of my workshop and the workshop itself, but the whole community found value in the work that I was doing. And from there, I began to see that the resources of wood needed to be supported. And I went into this reflection as to what to do and how to do it. And I had this sense that there was something that I wasn't experiencing or wasn't aware of. Someone was going to come into my life and help me. So I sat one day. I just felt that this person was going to come. So I sat quietly. I refused to engage with people who wouldn't take the phone calls, and just waited for this person to appear. And after some time, there was a phone that I didn't know this number, and so I intuitively picked it up. And it was this voice on the other side that I said, you are the person that I've been waiting for. And she was telling me that we were in the same El Decor. I was laid out in a Balinese sofa with a Brazilian headdress on, with basket lights to my side, and facing me was a story on Idana Pucci, of the Pucci family, and her home at the National Arts Club. She said to me, because she felt this connection very deeply, she said, Tucker, you're a bit late to come into my life. Next week we're getting married. Would you be our best man? And would you come to Bali and let me show you? And I said, wow, of course. Now, soon after that, a gentleman from Indonesia came in and said to me, Tukar, I have a basket for you. I said, great, I want to see them. Send me photos, please. He said, okay. And I said, may I see, go and see my baskets that I have in my studio upstairs. So he went back and went up, and he says, okay, Tukar, I have a basket for you. I said, good, send photo. Off he went. 6 months later, I get a call from him. He says, Tukar, I have a basket for you. I said, good, send photo. He said, too late, container coming. I said, oh my gosh, okay. Send me the paperwork. I said, where are I going to put all these things? A container, a 20-foot container of baskets. And you don't have photos for me? He said, no. Oh my gosh, okay. So, a few weeks later, a container arrives full of cone-shaped baskets. What am I going to do with cone-shaped baskets? Well, anyway, I thought of this way of hanging them upside down and using them as a light. And lo and behold, in the same El Decor magazine, there is those lights. And David Rockwell, the designer of Oscars and great hotels and homes, comes to see me to say, Tucker, I hope you have a lot of these baskets. I'm going to need them for a new chain for Nobu, called Nobu. And I said, well, I have over 1,000. He said, good, all right. So that was the beginning of a collection that went on for over a decade in such a way that I needed to rebuild those baskets. And this is a basket that was outmoded because of plastic, right? Plastic baskets were used instead. And in order to satisfy Nobu of over 1,000 baskets and basket lights hanging from the ceilings, the industry had to be revived. Now, on to my search for wood. And the Guatemalans called me to say, Tucker, it's been 10 years since you've been here, and we're building a design studio. We need to have Guatemalan products in it. Would you come? And I said, well, when? He said, we're opening December 2012. And I said, well, that's the Mayan calendar date. I'd like to meet with the Mayan elders and hear what they have to say and how I might be able to support them. So they organized the Mayan elders for me to meet, and I arrived with a friend who was a delegate within the UN representing Guatemala, and the elders said, we want to present to the UN. We want to go see the UN and tell our story. And with the help of a team of people, we were able to bring in 7 of the elders at a time when the United Nations was just being completed from its renovations. Stevie Wonder was opening it with his concert, and they were invited to the concert and met the Secretary General and addressed universities and schools. But what they wanted to do was to make prayers and rituals in front of the UN to show their respect for their God and for architecture, the edifices of New York City. And the UN came and asked me what would be the message of the Mayan elders, and I asked them. They said, we stand shoulder to shoulder with you, though some of us are barefoot. So this story of the indigenous people, right, without shoes, addressing the United Nations to say we are one and the same, resonated throughout my career.